That's what you were going to do anyway. So why didn't you do it? The men want to get more, even more aggressive. I mean, like, they're clearly psychos. It's like he would have cracked my head open back in 2017. It wasn't like these psychopaths aren't sitting here just talking. This is the women's. This is what they do. And so now he wants to over talk and be more aggressive than the women because the women are they're weird, dude. The women are weird because he doesn't want them getting sentenced to death or sentenced to life. And honest to God, if it's me that shows up in court, they're getting sentenced to death. And I was telling him, well, if you're going to get aggressive, why didn't you just go instead? Because this is clearly a death. They're facing the death penalty. This is exactly This is exactly the records that they wanted. They wanted to see someone like me and these terrorists because I am a specific person. So what they do is look for all of the ones that they are saying they investigated, and they isolate us. What the Central Intelligence agencies are doing is they're watching me from every direction. Okay? And it's not a joke. People think this is a joke. The Big Brother thing is a joke. It's not a joke. They're actually out there watching. And it does not bother me whatsoever. Because now these terrorists can't go ahead and do what they were intending to do. Okay, so they're watching me. They find someone who's not on drugs because they want to see exactly what these terrorists are doing, because what they're doing is they're human trafficking people and they're disguising it. So now I'm sitting here, I want to clear it up even more. I want to clear up all the records because honest to God, the government is on our side. These terrorists need to be sentenced to death. There are just too many government contracts and other countries involved that make them vulnerable if this comes out, and then they're not all the medicine is out for all the countries to protect their citizens, yada yada yada. The terrorists are taking advantage of the situation. They're talking in my head. They're gonna face the death penalty if they keep talking in my head. That's a promise. That is not how I handle it, sweetheart. I am telling them. If you laugh, do you think I care? Let's fit it that I don't give a shit. Teach him to fucking be a swinger ever again. terrorists commit crimes. Talking in someone's head and making them look schizophrenic is a crime, honey. Especially if they're getting medicated and incarcerated and institutionalized for it. That's a huge crime, sweetheart. And you're talking in their head while you're investigating them. Don't you think it's a little bit of a conflict, sweetheart?
Even if we both break
Stop.
down tonight.
I am done talking. Like the shit I've been seeing, like it's just weird, man. I don't know what to say. They're like, oh, go look at all of what's going on. Oh, look at this woman ate her baby. Literally, some woman ate her child. And then he's like, oh, look at this woman, the piece of shit talking in my head. Look at this woman who put her baby in an oven. Like the shit that doesn't add up. And I have 2 kids. And they've been torturing me and my family by talking in my head for the past 6 years. These are weirdos, dude. Go look at the news. So now my news algorithms, all they're about is like psycho weird shit, dude. And then now it's like, oh, let's just keep her occupied with it. Like that's how I'm supposed to keep up with what they're doing. These are psychopaths. I want them sentenced to death. The women are freaking weird. And they keep saying, I don't give a shit about you and your daughter. The women, dude. The women, man. They're responsible. Because these men are, every time I sit here and say that, they flip their lids. So if they love them so much and the women had that much power, then why the hell didn't these women tell them to not do whatever the hell they were doing in the first place, if they're too scared to face the consequences, when they clearly have kids that are going to be sent outside orphaned because they're going to be sentenced to death or to life in prison, huh, honey? Huh? And as if it's really about the kids, dude. It's horrors of these are whore bags. Real moms do what they're supposed to do, hun, for their kids. It makes it sound like, oh my gosh, that isn't true. All these kings and queens that the people have honored or however they voted them in or however, as if they're criminals. No, people respect them because they're respectable people, sweetheart. That's how they earn their way, homie. The women you mess with are fucking whores and they're terrorists, they're psychopaths, and they need to be sentenced to death. The proof is in the pudding, hun. Alexa, what time is it?
The time is 5:34 a.m.
Get out of my head. She's like, she's not checking anyway. Okay, well, if anyone else is actually saying that, sweetheart, I can hear inside these four walls. And that means that camera can capture it. I'm done talking, you lying psycho piece of shit. They're talking in my head. They've deprived me of sleep 3 or 4 days in a row. They're punishing me. Or punishing me for being so blatantly honest about what's actually going on here. They're afraid that it's going to land in the wrong person's lap, and they're going to want to know what's really going on. However, they have the ability to bring these forward. There has to be solid material evidence. It's something's going on. People are. The CIA is investigating these terrorists. The CIA is clearly investigating these terrorists, and they need solid material because they can see me on a map, right? But they can't. If they're talking in my head, they can't distinguish if everyone's sitting from their computers, and they have confidential informants as well running around, but they're actually running around, so they can't be in several places at once like the people behind the computers. So what was I gonna say? So their confidential informants don't want to give up where their locations are and what they're doing because they don't want these terrorists to get away with what they're doing. They've been after it. So they're closing in on them, and these terrorists are talking in my head. And it's obvious they're trying to pretend like there's something going on outside when there's not. This is torture. This is murder. This is whatever you want to call it. They're talking in my head. If they shaved 20 years off my life and I would have lived to 80, it's murder. Instead 60. So, and it doesn't, and I don't like, this is insane. And then to defame someone and to traffic them and to abuse their family and ruin their financial opportunities, and just, this is insanity. Out on the streets. You guys are going out on the streets. I'm done talking. And there's more than one of them. So even if they have, like, they got me, they know that what's going on, and God willing, they're using, because I gave permissions when I upload this on Facebook, or I upload this, I am giving permission to the United States of America to use this as evidence that there's nothing, that the terrorists talking in my head, okay, are committing, crimes that are, these are just, this isn't, what do you call this? Like, murder, serial killing, do you call it, like, what do you call this? Genocide? A family? I mean, what do we call this? But anyways, like I'm saying, if they're, I'm giving them permissions to use this. I gave up those rights when I upload this video, and I am glad to do so. I want them asking questions. I want them to, I want this investigation to end. I want them to turn over this wannabe investigation to the United States. And I want them to do it quickly, so this is like the other targeted individuals. Let me grab my phone. I'm getting ready.